I'm back. Yes, guys, it's been a hot minute, hasn't it? I haven't spoken or seen you guys for about 2.5 weeks now. I've been on my honeymoon. I'm still wearing a t-shirt which represents the wonders and beauty that is the Caribbean. I still want to be there. In an ideal world, I could live there. Unfortunately, the world isn't ideal as I'd like to think it is. But what a great couple of weeks. Me and my wife had the best honeymoon possibly imaginable. It's an all-inclusive hotel. The beaches were some of the most stunning beaches I've ever seen in my life. White sand, turquoise blue sea. The wildlife was incredible. There were turtles, there were dolphins, there were mongooses, there were pelicans, and there was this other thing called a frigate bird. Never heard of it, but they kind of look like mini pterodactyls. It was absolutely extraordinary. Best holiday ever. We're probably going to go back there. For anyone who's been to the Caribbean, where did you go and what did you like most about it? Today I want to talk about what I learned about hair systems in a hot, humid climate, because this place was hot, this place was humid. So I really tested out this hair system and I learned some really important things. Three of the most important things we're going to talk about now. But before I do that, if you're enjoying my content or if you're new around here and you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. And if you're enjoying my content, please give it a thumbs up. I'm going to try and get 40 likes for this video. Now, I wore 2 different hair systems when I was on holiday because I wanted to test out what different bases worked better in the kind of climate that I was dealing with. So every day pretty much it was about 31 centigrade, which is about the sort of 90 Fahrenheit sort of heat for my American friends watching this video. And it wasn't just the heat, it was the humidity and it was the UV. So the UV every day, we got an app that told us the UV levels. It was very high, like extremely high every single day. Like the kind of high where you sit out on a sunbed, you'll put on really high factor sun cream and it will not work. The UV was that high. So it was a really good test for the hair systems that I was wearing. Both the hair systems I took were LaVivid hair systems. One was an ultra thin skin, which I wore the first 5 days I was there. And then the second is the one I'm still wearing right now. So this is the LaVivid Tyler silk hair system. So I wore this for the remainder of the holiday, which is... We were there 14 days, so 14 minus 5. So I wore it for 9 days and actually wore it for another 2 days after I got back. So I wore it overall for 11 days. And that might just give you an indicator as to what hair system actually dealt better with the conditions that we were in. Now, before I take this long-winded route into the first thing that I learned about hair systems in this kind of climate, don't forget you can get 15% off any hair system you like, stock hair systems and accessories, and you can use that 15% discount code as many times as you like. Check my description box below, lavividhair.com. Now, I made a short video for y'all when I got back home to show you what my hair system looked like when I got back. Now, a little bit of context here. I wanted to really test out the Tyler systems. This is already 5 months old, right? And I exposed it to chlorine in the swimming pool. I exposed it to seawater in the sea, and I exposed it to the sunlight. So check out this video so you can have a quick look at how the hair system got on. So this is my hair post-holiday. Now it's been exposed to a lot of chlorine, a lot of sunshine, and a lot of seawater. So I've purposely done this to basically show how robust this system can be. Now the hair itself is still in good quality. It has lightened. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be applying a semi-permanent hair colour depositing conditioner called Got To Be Natural. And we'll see how it looks after having done that. So as you can see, guys, the actual hair system got on pretty well given the conditions. The only thing, there was a bit of lightening of the actual hair itself, and that's because I was exposing it to really powerful UV sunlight every single day. I wore hats every now and then, but it was pretty much I was allowing the hair to get exposed because I wanted to see how it would get on. Now, since I've been home, as I mentioned in the video, I put on some semi-permanent dye, so Back to Natural. It's a really good product. It's semi-permanent, so even if you don't like the colour that it comes out as, it washes out in a couple of washes. But you can see now, the blend is better than it was before. So it was really quite blonde before. And, you know, I've got my hair cut. I got my hair cut by my barber, and I put the Back to Natural on for... I probably could have put it on for 10 minutes. I put it on for 5 because I was in a bit of a hurry and there were other things to do. We've had a lot of washing to do since we've been back. Surprise, surprise. But it's looking better. The blend is looking better. It was a lot blonder in the actual hair system itself, and that has sort of darkened a bit. So it blends with my natural hair better. It's not perfect, but it's a 5-month-old system. I might do it again in the shower. I might just put on some more Back to Natural for another 5 minutes, and then it'll probably blend back fully to my natural colour. The only reason it didn't was because I was in a bit of a hurry. So the first thing that I learned about this, about hair systems in a hot, humid climate, use tape. Use strong tape. So you can use Walker lace frontal, you can use Sunshine tape lace frontal as well. Both really good. There's also ultra hold strips, and there is the ultra hold tape as well. These hold really well in humid conditions. I use the lace frontal from Sunshine tape, and I had 0 lifts with the Tyler. I had zero lifts at all for the 11 days that I was wearing it. And bearing in mind, when we were in the Caribbean, it was hot and I was sweating profusely every day. I was getting sunscreen in my eyes every day because I was sweating so much, and it really hurt. But the actual tape itself was absolutely phenomenal. No lifts whatsoever. It held like cement. It was absolutely fantastic. The first 5 days I was there, I used the ultra thin skin and I used glue. And I tell you what, after like 4 days, I was getting lifts because again, I was sweating a lot, but the hold wasn't as good, and that's why I had to take off the system, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to give the Tyler a go now. I want to see the Tyler with tape to see how it gets on with this sweating every single day. And that also included going underwater. So when I was wearing the ultra thin skin, I went underwater twice. I went in the sea once, and then I went in the pool once, and after the sea, I was feeling it getting looser. I was actually feeling it getting looser, and I was like, yeah, you know, glues and ultra thin skins are maybe not the best base for this kind of climate. And that's when I decided to go with the Tyler after that and see how I got on. With the Tyler, every single day, I was literally going into the swimming pool. We also had a plunge pool in our bedroom, or the back of our bedroom. So we had that, so I was getting my hair wet every single day. That had chlorine in it as well. And no lift whatsoever. I remember even going underwater at one point and trying really hard to pull the base off, and it wasn't coming off. So that is a massive plus point for tape. Second thing I learned, prioritize wearing lace over poly, if at all possible. And if you find that you can't just do pure lace, at least try and get a hybrid if you're in this kind of climate. Because my goodness, do you sweat? And when you sweat, that needs to go somewhere. When I was wearing the ultra thin skin, it was just getting stuck under my head, and it was sort of meshing with the glue, getting a little bit smelly as well. It wasn't pleasant at all, and I could feel lifts coming around the back, and I was like, this is not ideal. However, when I moved to the Tyler, so the silk base, it's got a lace frontal and it's got silk in the middle, and basically all of that sweat can come through the silk, it can come through the lace, and it doesn't smell, it doesn't loosen the bond either. You feel like your head can breathe, and that is so important. That is so important when you're in a kind of really hot climate like that, where it's that kind of temperature every day, and it's likely that you're perspiring every day. What I also did was, anyone who's worn the Tyler, you will know that it has a poly perimeter, so it's sort of like a horseshoe poly perimeter around there. What I did, I used ultra hold strips, which meant that there were little gaps between each strip where any sweat that did build up around the area could literally just slide down the side of my face. And I could feel it. I could feel the sweat actually sort of sliding down my face, and it was a way of basically getting rid of the sweat without it getting stuck to or stuck under the hair system and causing a big problem and loosening the bond. It worked like a really good ventilation system as well. So if you're in that climate and you need to have a poly perimeter, try and get strips, so ultra hold strips, and you don't even have to connect them. You can make little gaps where the sweat can escape. And the third thing that I learned about hair systems in a really, really hot climate is the thickness of the base doesn't really matter that much. I'm talking more about lace than poly because I just don't recommend full polys in this kind of temperature. I know some guys do, but for me it just didn't work. Too many lifts, the bond wasn't strong enough, my head felt like it was getting hot. With lace, I found it doesn't really matter how thick the lace is as long as it's breathable. So for instance, this is a French lace at the front. So Swiss lace is a thinner lace, but I don't think it makes much difference. I didn't feel as if this was worse wearing this in that kind of heat compared to, for instance, a poly. It was just like, it just felt like there was nothing on my head, and it felt like my head could breathe. It was very comfortable, and I got much longer out of it. And that's the thing, I didn't really expect to get longer out of this on holiday than the ultra thin skin. I just didn't. I was just like, no, this is too thick. It's going to be too hot. It's going to be too heavy. It's not at all. It's absolutely ideal. And I really felt, because it's quite a robust hair system, it's quite thick and it's quite well made, but it really suited the conditions. It was breathable, it was very tolerable, and it was durable. You know, as I said, I went into the sea multiple times. Most days, I went into the pool most days. We hired a Jeep, it was blowing in the wind. We had the roof down, you know, and it was doing fine. The hold was absolutely fine. So it really pleasantly surprised me. And it said to me that, you know what? The thickness doesn't even matter that much. So I'd like to sort of get that perception out of people's heads, because even if it is a bit of a thicker system, it doesn't mean it's going to be super uncomfortable. The most important thing is that you can breathe and your scalp can breathe. That's more important than anything in these type of conditions. And one little bonus thing that I learned as a little reward for you guys who have stuck through till the end of this video: try and keep sunscreen away from your hair system because it makes it really greasy. If possible, if you've got an Alice band or something, when you're applying sunscreen, put an Alice band to sort of like hold your hair back out of your face and just apply there and then let it come down, because it makes it like super greasy, and it kind of gives that appearance. And I've spoken about this before around using argan oil. Using too much argan oil on your hair system can make it look super greasy and the hair can like clump together. Same with sun cream. So be a bit careful, use an Alice band or just use your hand and just apply the screen to your face. Now guys, if you want to learn more about the Tyler system, the one I'm wearing right now and the one I wore for a majority of my holiday, I'm doing a bit of an experiment with it. You know, I've been wearing it like 5 months now. I've been really testing it in all sorts of conditions, and I made a couple of videos of it. I've been sort of projecting and publishing the story from beginning to end. So a video is going to pop up on the screen right now so you can check out earlier in my journey with this particular system. And don't forget guys, I do offer one-to-one sessions via Zoom for half an hour where you can ask me any questions you want. I can basically help you take your first steps into developing hair system superpowers. Till next time guys, bye for now.